Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner, and I have a special tutorial to do today. National Library Week is April 4th through the or April 7th through the 13th. Kind of crept up on me. I was thinking of National Librarians Day, and I was going to do something for that. But then I thought, oh, there's a whole big thing out there for libraries. And because this program is presented to you, sponsored by my local library, I just could not let that pass by. So, National Library Week, April 7th through April 13th, I'm going to do something special for that. That's going to culminate in or end on National Librarians Day. So what we're going to do is make some neat keychains because my little catchphrase is librarians hold the key to learning new skills. It's not just for books anymore. So what we're going to do is make some keychains for you. And what I want you to do is make several of them. I'm going to give you, you get kits enough to make 3 keychains, and you're going to take one of them in, or at least one, to our main library branch, and they are going to be on display until the 16th of April, which is National Librarians Day. So your little creation is going to be on display in the lobby of the library for 2 weeks. That's so exciting. Anyway, we're going to do that. What I'm going to give you is enough beads to make and rings, key rings, to make 3 key rings, key chains, 3 key chains. And you're going to bring in at least one of them to the library to be on display in the lobby. What you're going to do is take them in. They told me what to say. That you can take 1 keychain in or more if you would like to the Decatur Library, which is our main branch at 215 Sycamore Street in Decatur. And it'll be on display until April 16th. You can turn it into Joanna, Joni, Anthony, or Chantrice at the circulation desk anytime between now and April 5th before 5 p.m. And then you can see your creation in the library on display until the 16th of April. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to make some keychains. And I'm kind of excited about that because that's one of those family friendly things that everybody can do. And I'm looking forward to doing it because it's a lot of fun. I've already made a bunch of them. Just sat down and made them. Oh, and you're going to get this cute little book charm that you can put on one of them. And I've got some little stars because the library is our star. So I've got these really neat crystal stars that you can use. Okay, enough of that. I'm using both 20 and 18 gauge wire. We want them to be sirens, sorry. We want them to be strong enough so that they don't get damaged. The 20 gauge I'm using when I'm using a double strand. We're going to be wrapping some of them, so that'll strengthen them as well. You won't have any problems with it, but I just wanted to let you know that you'll have 2 sizes of wire, mainly because these little crystal stars are very finely drilled, and they only fit the 20 gauge wire. So I wanted to make sure that you could get some stars. And what else? I'm also going to, this one that I did, it was just basically for fun, but I also wrapped them with 24 gauge wire. If I can get that a little clearer, I might have to show it to you down there when I get to the little mat. I also wrapped some 24 gauge wire around it just for fun, just to make it really pretty. And man, that is tough I'm squeezing it right now. It's as tough as it can get. So you're going to have 18 gauge wire, 20 gauge wire, a little bit of 24 gauge wire that you can use to wrap. You're going to have a cacophony of beads that you can use. And you're going to need your usual tools, round nose pliers, square nose pliers, cutters, and a ruler. Just the usual. So let's go ahead and get started on this because it's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really cannot wait to see what you create. I might take that one step further. If I get as good a response on this as I hope to get, and there are enough people for me to do it, I'm going to have a drawing in a later that I'm going to do on a later video where whoever's name I pull out will get a gift, something to do with jewelry making. Oh, and I'm going to be giving you little tags to write your name on your piece that you turn in because I want to make sure that you get it back at the end. So you'll have the key rings, the beads, the little book charms, crystal crystal stars, and you're going to have a little tag that you can put on your key ring for when you turn it in to the lobby. That's it. Let's get down here to the mat and get going. Okay, let's start with one that I'm going to do with 18 gauge wire. And I'm making it very neutral for those who don't want a whole lot of bells and whistles, especially you guys out there who might just want something simple that you can use to hold your keys. So what I'm going to do is take this 18 gauge wire and make a very simple key chain. So I've got these nice little wooden beads here that I'm going to use. And when you're using the 18 gauge wire, it's important to test and make sure that the holes are big enough for the 18 gauge wire to go through because it's bigger. Just remember, the bigger the number, the smaller the wire. So the 18 gauge wire is going to be bigger and stronger than the 20 gauge wire. Just remember that. Okay, so I'm using, aren't going to need more than 8 inches of wire for any of these little things that I'm doing today. So I've got 8 inches of wire. This is 18 gauge, and I just need to decide how I want my beads to go on. So for this one, I think I want to check and see how much space my beads take up. Oh, that looks kind of awesome. Check and see how much space my beads take up. And they take about 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches. So I'm going to need that. And at the top here, I'm going to leave myself 1 inch to make my loop, make my wrapped loop, and another inch to wrap around at the top. Yeah. So I want to make sure I have that. And in order to make my wrap, I'm going to need wire to wrap around. So down here at the bottom is where I'm going to start to make my loop that is going to hold the little dangle charm that I have. And for that, I just need 1 inch of wire. So you can measure that, you can eyeball it. Just give myself 1 inch. Okay, then I'm going to bend that back like so that I can make my little loop. I'm going to slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. It doesn't have to go too far. The loop doesn't have to be too big. I'm going to bring that short tail of wire over the top of my pliers. I have a partial loop here. Can't go any further because my wire's in the way and so are my pliers. So without shifting my wire, I'm going to open my pliers up reposition them until I have a little T shape. Wires going down, pliers are going across, and I'm going to bring that short tail of wire under my pliers until I have a loop. So now I have a little loop here. Bring this down a little closer. I have my little loop, but I don't want to close it up yet because I have to put my little, I want to put my little charm on. Get even closer. Okay, so here's my little charm. I'm going to put that on. Open that up a little bit so I can get the charm in. Okay, pop that down into my loop like so. And now I'm ready to wrap that closed. So I'm going to use my square pliers to hold it. Then I'm going to wrap that short tail around the long stem. And this is 18 gauge, so it's very strong. It's also very malleable, so don't worry about that. Just have a really short tail here. I only need to wrap it around once, maybe 1.5 times. So that's plenty. Okay, use my pliers to grab that little tip, wrap that around, and then I can just snip off the rest. Or if you want to, you can wrap the rest of it around. There's not very much, so you could wrap the rest of it around if you want. I'm just going to put that off down into my little thing, and it doesn't have a bottom, but I still was able to catch it so that it didn't go flying across the room, meaning that I have to go crawling around to find it. And that little tiny tip there, I don't want that exposed. I'm going to take my pliers and squeeze that down. I like to go from behind, it's easier. And squeeze that little tip down until it's resting snug against this wire here. There we go. Now I'm going to put my beads on in whatever order you want. What do I want here? I'm going to go with that first. How's that look? Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's go there. Let's put these little rondelles on and end with this little small rondelle. What do we think of that? What do you think? Nice? Yes? No? Maybe? I like it. Yes, I do. So I'm going to leave myself an inch up here because I want to wrap around here. I could just go ahead and make a loop there and that could be the end of it. But I want to make this a little bit longer. So I'm going to leave myself an inch of space right up here at the top. I'm going to bend back. I'm going to use my pliers because I get a sharper bend, but you can use your fingers if you want. I'm going to bend that back, nice sharp bend. Grab my round pliers, slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. Bring that wire over the top of my pliers and down the side. Open up my pliers without shifting my wire. Reposition it until I have that T formation. T. Bring that tail of wire under my pliers until I have a loop. So there's my little loop. And now I'm going to wrap. Now what I'm going to do, I want to make a wrap down the stem for two reasons. First, it looks really neat. And second, it strengthens my wire. Even though this is 18 gauge and it's already very strong, I'm still going to do it anyway. So I'm going to wrap that around, and you can wrap it whatever way you want. I'll use these wider ones over here. Those weren't the ones I was going after, but that's okay, whatever. Okay, I just want to hold that and I want to wrap this around. Now, it depends on how many wraps you want to do. I did this one with just a few wraps, nice and strong. I also did this one with a bunch of wraps. So it just depends on the look that you're going for. I'm just going to go with a nice, and I'm just wrapping that around. And notice how I'm holding on to my beads and not trying to wrap from out here because that's going to shift everything. So I'm kind of controlling it by staying nice and close. And when I get down here, I can actually hold it with my hands if I want to, or I can continue to use my pliers and just shift it down to where I can hold it a little closer. Wrap that around. And then when I get down here, what do I want to do? Do I want to stop? I just have so much wire, I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a couple of wraps down here. And that depends on how many beads you put on. I have extra wire. So I'm just going to give myself a little cap on this little wire. Just make a little spiral right on top. Isn't that neat? I didn't expect to do that, but I don't see why not. And I still have wire left. So what am I going to do? I'm going to bring that down and wrap that around the bead. Oh, I like it. Yes, I do. Okay, so that is my little keychain. So now I'm going to just cut that off. That little tail that I don't need. Snip that off. And the easiest way to get as close as I want to get to where I want to cut is to use the back part of my pliers if this is the kind I'm using. One side is concave, it's got a little indentation here. The other side is flat. Use your flat side to cut close. That's going to go flying if I don't do something to stop it. Let me use this one. No, it doesn't have a bottom either. Snip that off. Get rid of that little tip and just push down that little end. So it has nothing to snag on. There we go. And there we, there we have one. I like that. All I have to do is slide it on my little key ring. And we have a winner. What do you say? That out a little bit. Oh, neat. All right, let's do another one. Oh, okay, let's do this one. We already did a little bit of a wrap around the beach, so I cheated a little bit, but let's just go ahead and do this one as well. So this one I'm going to do with 20 gauge wire, but I wanted to show you that you can use 20 gauge and it'll be fine because I'm going to wrap around the beads like I did with this one, and it's nice and strong because I've got extra wire wrapped around there, nice and strong. Okay, so I'm just telling you that because if you don't have 18 gauge wire, it's not always the easiest thing to find. And if you want to use 20 gauge wire, you can. You absolutely can. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time is make my loop at the top. Because I'm using 20 gauge wire, I'm going to do a different kind of wrap. I'm going to make a double loop at the top, sort of like what we have on our keychain ring. So what I'm going to do, measure my beads out again, put them on any way, whatever way you want them on there. That's kind of neat. I just kind of threw those on. Okay, so I have approximately almost 2 inches worth of beads here. And I know I need about an inch or so at the top in order to make my little wrapped bail that will, or loop, double loop that'll go on my keychain or my key ring. The rest of that is going to go down here, and I'm going to make another little wrap that my book is going to go on. And then I'm going to wrap up the beads to the top. This time we wrapped down to the beads. This time we're going to go up the beads to the top. Neat, huh? Okay, so anyway, so I know I need an inch at the top here. I need 2 inches for my beads. I can leave those on or take them off, but if I measure that, I don't need to leave those beads on and I don't have to shuffle around with them. I can go ahead and take them off because I know exactly what I need. So I'm going to take those off and I'm going to put a bend in my wire. Again, you can use your fingers or you can use the pliers. It's entirely up to you. So I put my bend in my wire, and this time I'm going to use the long end to make my loop because I need this entire 3 inches for the rest of my design. So I'm going to make my little loop, slide my wire down about a third of the way down my pliers, just like I did the other one. Bring the wire over the top of my pliers and down the side until I can't go any further. And I'm going to rotate my pliers, bring that short tail, where is it? Or long tail this time. Bring that long tail under my pliers till I have my loop. There we go. Grab my book, slide it on. Open that up so that it'll slide inside my loop. Close my loop back up. And I'm going to make one wrap. Just going to wrap that around the long stem around the short stem this time. One little wrap around there. Okay. Now I'm going to put my beads on. How do I want them? Let me count the beads. That looks pretty good. I like that. Where do I want this in the middle? Oh, I like that too. I can't decide. Okay, I think I'm going to go with what I had right down there. Let's see. So I'll put you on, and I'll put you on. Where's the hole? There it is. And I'll put you on. There we go. Now I need to finish off the top. So again, I'm going to make a rolled loop because I want this to be nice and strong up here. And it looks like I have a little more than an inch, which is fine because when I wrap, I want to be able to wrap in between my beads, and that might push it up a little bit. And I want to have space for that. So I'm going to grab my pliers and I'm going to slide that wire down about a third of the way down my pliers again. Right there on the tip. It's going to fight me. That's okay. Yeah, I'm going to slide it a little further back. I want to make sure big enough to go over here. So I'm going to slide that down. Yeah, that's about a third of the way. That's good. I'm going to make a loop. Now, watch this. Because I'm using round pliers that get gradually smaller as I go, I want to make sure that my second loop is in the same place on my plier arm that my first loop is. Otherwise, they're going to be different sizes. So I'm going to start my wrap in the back behind the first one and then slide it up a little bit so that I can make sure my second wrap is in the same spot as my first wrap and they're the same size. You can always turn that around and check, turn it around to the other side and adjust it if you need to, but that's what I have. That's very good. It looks like a little, well, it looks like a wrapped loop, just like this. Neat, huh? Trying to do it unblurry. Ugh, this is so annoying. Sometimes it drives me nuts. Not sure what this one is supposed to do. I think that's good. There we go. Okay, so there we go. There's my little wrapped loop. That's nice, snug there. I have some space here at the top. Now I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping with my wire. I have one wrap around the bottom, the stem of my wire. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring this up the front of my bead. This is the way I'm doing it. You do not have to do this, but this is going to be my design. I'm going to bring this wire right up the front of my bead. It bounces like that. Anyway, bring that right up the front of my bead, and then I'm going to wrap it around in between my next bead, and then bring it up that bead and wrap it in between the next bead. And then do the same thing on my last bead. You do not have to do all of this wrapping if you don't want to. I thought it would be nice to have something wrapped just like this. Now, right now, this is still very malleable and bendable. But after a while, where is it? It will get really tough so that it won't bend as much, which is what I want. In fact, I think I'm going to go down here, unravel that. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to give this another wrap around here just to make it even stronger. And then I'm going to bring this up. I have enough wire to do it. I may as well use it up. And wrap that around the top. And then just adjust my wires the way I want them to look. And there's my bookmark. Down. And bring the rest of that around. And tuck in that end so that it won't scratch anybody or anything. Get down there. I want to try to tuck it under that wrap there. There we go. Now what I'm going to go down here and do is I've got this little straight piece of wire. I'm going to give it a little tweak. I'm just going to hold on to it with my pliers and give it a little lightning bolt. Oh, isn't that neat? I like it. I like it. I like it. Make whatever adjustments you need to make before the wire work hardens, and then it's not as adjustable. And there's my second bookmark. Yay. Pop it on my little earring. There we go. Bookmark number 2. There it is. Ah, neat. Okay, bookmark number 3. And I am again using 20 gauge wire for this because I'm going to use these little crystal stars that I have and some little crystal rondelles. And these little stars are very finely drilled, tiny little holes. So I need something that will accommodate them. This, no rhyme or reason, I'm using 8 inches of wire again. I'm just going to put them on at random because I've got lots of color. The only thing I want to make sure that I do is get my stars on. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I can get them all on. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Yeah, let's go ahead and put another one on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got a bunch. One more on there. Pop a star on. There's a little hole. There it is. Okay. Let's put some more beads on. No, let's go with blue. Okay, let's get some red and ice purple, blue. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And put another star on. I'm just mumbling to myself like there's nobody else in the room, which there kind of isn't, but I hope I'm not being rude to all of you. Okay, let's get another few beads on there. I'm just putting beads on because they're there. Okay, I've got one too many beads. Okay, so we got 4 and then a star and then 4 and then 5 and then a star and then 4. Yeah, that'll work. And let's make a loop. And it doesn't have to be a round loop. It can be a little teardrop. Actually, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, this one came out to be a teardrop and I love it. Yay. Okay, so I'll make my little teardrop. Oh, and look, my stars are perfectly placed. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. So I'm going to cross that over, get my wires crossed over. And then I'm going to bend one of them up. Needs to go straight up, like so. The other one is going to wrap around it. so that we can create our loop. So I need to hold on to my beads, make my little wrap around the stem there. Yes. Now I'm going to make my loop up here that's going to go into my key ring. Slide that down about 1/3 of the way down. My pliers again, right here at the top where my wrap is. Bring that wire over the top and down the side. Reposition my pliers and bring that wire underneath my pliers. So I have a nice little loop. Grab my square pliers. And wrap it around. Now, this I can get rid of. I don't need it. Unless you want a nice big wrap around there, which you can do if you want. Like I did on this one. I just kept wrapping because I had lots of wire. And I figured, why not? So let's do that. It's a nice big cap. Let's wrap it around each way. This one's going this way. This one's going the other way. Until I don't want to do that anymore. Let's go ahead and cut it off. Oh, that is very pretty. I like it. So a little space in there. I'm going to fill it in. And then I'm going to cut it off. There we go. Okay. All right, let's cut off those little ends. One. Cut off the other one. Okay, and push down those little tips so that they won't snag on anything. Here we go. Nice. Now, I could stop there. Easily stop there with no problem. Because that's very pretty and it could go on my keychain and that would be that. But I'm going to give you another little piece of wire. So why not use it? So let's go ahead and get a little piece of 24 gauge wire. Get that out a little bit. Get it unfurled. I'm going to give myself, what have we got here? I'm going to give myself about whatever this is. Come on, straighten. What have I got? I've got 6, not quite 7 inches. Let's see here. Get it to straighten out enough. Yeah, I've got about 6.5, maybe 6.25 to 6.5 inches in the fire here. Let's see what I can do. So I'm going to take my wire. I'm just going to feed it through. Right in here in the middle here. I'm going to hold on to this tail because I need something to hold on to first. And then I'm just going to make a little wrap right here at the top. So here's my little tail. And I'm going to wrap this around. I need an anchor. So I'm going to wrap this around the top right here beside my other wraps. Hold on to my little tail. Okay, feed that through. Wrap that around. Oops. Put that. Wrap that around one time. Make sure you give yourself one full wrap, maybe two, just to be safe. You can use the little tail to give yourself the second wrap if you want, but I'd hold on to that for the moment. And now I'm going to just wrap around my beads, sort of like I did with this, just because I think it'll be pretty. I'm going to wrap that around. I'm going to go two beads around. And another two beads. A little star. And you can do one bead and then two beads and then three beads and then one bead. It's just entirely up to you. This is very organic. I'm not doing anything specific, as you can see. I just took a random piece of wire. 6 inches. And I'm wrapping it around until I cannot wrap anymore. There we go. That's it. Wrap that last little piece around this last little bead right here in between bead one and bead two. Push that down in between the beads. There we go. Go back here and find that little tip that I had at the top there, that little tiny bit that I was using for support. You can wrap that around again if you want to, or just cut it off. Wrap that little tail. Pull it through. There we go. Get in there. Grab it. Come on, little tail. Grab that little end. There. Push it down. Snag. And then just adjust the wraps the way you want them. Got a nice long wrap across my little star, so I think I'm going to give it a little nudge. I'm going to give it a little tweak. Oh, look! Ah, nice! There it is. Grab my little keychain, my little key ring. Slide it on. And there we have it. Oh, I love it. These are so much fun. And remember, bring your creation to the library and it will be displayed for all to see. Don't forget to put your name on it because we want you to get it back at the end. did something like this before, and I mean, people were fascinated with what people make, which was really neat. And I wanted to make sure you get a little exposure so people can see your talent. Ah, so much fun. All right, ladies and gents, everybody out there, this is our project for today. Go show your library some love, even if you don't get a kit. Remember, National Libraries Week is April 7th through April 13th, and you can really enjoy the programs that they have and make your own little keychains just like this. So much fun. So much fun to be had. Wow, I've done a bunch of these. I didn't realize how crazy I had gone. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mhm. That's it, folks. Oh, all right, everybody. That's it. I could sit here and just look at these all day, but I hope that you enjoyed this and I hope that you'll do this. I think it's a family-friendly project that you can do for something that's practical and usable and always a lot of fun. So grab some beads. Those of you who get kits, you're going to be all set. Grab some beads, grab some wire, make your own keychain. No two alike. No two alike. That's it. Enjoy. I hope you had fun with this. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let me get back up here where you can see me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and I hope you will make this and I hope that you will bring your goods to the library so that we can see your creativity. I am really, really looking forward to this. I haven't done anything like this in a long time. The pandemic really did us in. And so it's long overdue that we do something like this. Bring your designs in. Let us see what your skill, what you can do, your skill level, whatever you can do, whatever you want to do. I just wanted to show you some basic ways to do these so that you can just take off and do it the way you want it. I want to see your creations. And this is my way of pulling it out of you. That's it, everybody. This is our program for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everything works out okay. And I hope that you are able to follow along fairly easily and that you will come back. So until next time, enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend. See you later. Bye bye.